So this Thursday, yes, me and EJ. So Mark leaves for camp on Thursday. Me and EJ leave for LA. We're going to be in LA that morning. We're staying that night, and then we're flying from LA to Brisbane. So if you're in the LA area and want to hang out Thursday night or Friday afternoon, that'd be rad. Be super cool. I should hit up Jules and go say hi to Jules while I'm there. That'd be fun.
I think I spelled Australia wrong.
Did you?
Yeah.
Australia. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so we're making my way.
No, I didn't.
Out to Australia, which is going to be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, super excited. Camp Mograph Australia is like basically is it a week? It's a week and a half. So we'll be there this weekend, getting ready, getting prepped and everything. Campers start coming in. We've got our staff coming in on the 26th, and then everyone else coming in on the 27th. If you're in Australia and you didn't grab a ticket, we've got a couple people who are looking to sell their tickets. Feel free to contact us, info at campmograph.com, and we'll get that set up. Or if you know someone who is looking to grab a ticket or something, hit us up, info at campmograph.com, and we'll get that worked out. But yeah, we're super duper excited. One big thing I want to say to all the Australian campers, if you're planning on using the shuttle, and this could go for US campers as well, make sure you sign up for the shuttle. We need to have those numbers for our drivers and stuff like that. And you can do that in your camper portal. If you don't remember where the camper portal is or whatever, just email us, info at campmograph.com, or look back at your ticket that you got, like the confirmation. It should give all that information in there. But I am very, very excited about.
Well, if you're very,
I'm very. I'm excited about going to camp in Australia. It's going to be a whole new experience. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited to see how the Australia market feels about camp. And it's one of those things where you say you don't know how cool camp is until after you go.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And what's fun is I know a few Americans. You know, we've got quite a few Americans coming to the camp as well, especially previous other campers and stuff like that, which is really cool. Also, we're gonna get that sweet Camp Mograph Brisbane t-shirt, and only I'm gonna go to camp this year in the US wearing that Brisbane one, and everyone who's been to all the other Camp Mographs but not that one is gonna be super jealous. Very excited about that. I'll have to bring you one, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. I can pretend I went.
So but yeah, big shout out to all of the Camp Mograph Australia sponsors. Without this, we couldn't have done this at all without the Camp Mograph sponsors. They help bring the tickets down.
You didn't put Mograph on there, but you know.
Yeah, Mograph. So Mograph is we're the universal sponsor, the global sponsor for Camp Mograph. So Mograph.com presents Camp Mograph.
Australia.
Australia, yes.
Yeah.
So big shout out to our sponsors for Australia, Otoy and Maxon. You'll be staying in one of those two villages, as well as Plug in Everything, Smush Workstations, Stash Magazine,
Smush?
Hello Lux, and Rev.
Smoosh?
Yes. Smoosh. Smush. Smoosh. Smush. Like
Smushed.
bush. Smush. Smush.
Smush.
Yeah.
Smoosh.
Yeah.
Smushed.
So big shout out to all of them. Thank them. If you're coming to camp, make sure and give them a shout out. I know we'll have representatives from all of them going to be there. Matthias from Axon is going to be there, so he's going to be hanging out as well, and then we've got Tim's going to be there from Hello Lux. We're going to party like crazy with Tim.
Boy.
That's going to be fun. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then big shout out to all of our Chicago sponsors. Thanks so much. Camp Mograph Chicago is still coming up. If you're on the wait list, we did have one person who wasn't able to go. Just if you still want to go, just make sure you're on the wait list. We may have some extra tickets that we will find, especially closer to the event. We always have some people who are like, oh, I can't go. Can you put someone on the wait list? So just be ready. If you're on that wait list, we may be able to push one out to you. So Big shout out to all of our sponsors for Camp Mograph US. Our global sponsor, Otoy. Thank you so much. Otoy presents Camp Mograph 2024. Super excited to have them on board. And then we've got Maxon and Sony, Grayscale Gorilla, Motion Hatch, and Stash Magazine. So thanks to all of our amazing sponsors for helping keep the price of tickets down so that everyone could afford to have a good time and get some pretty sweet swag and meet some amazing people. So thank you so much, Camp Mograph, and everyone. Looking forward to seeing everyone in the next week and a half.
Man.
It's going to be crazy.
Wow.
I'm hoping that my circadian rhythm is going to be ready, because I get there, we leave Friday. We get there Sunday morning at like 5 a.m., but we're flying at night. So I'm hoping that because it's going to be 9:30 LA time when we leave PM, which is like 11:30 Dallas time, so I'm hoping that I'm just going to be exhausted, and be like, all right, I got my window seat. I'm just going to put on my chin strap thing and hopefully sleep for 5 or 6 hours.
What chin strap thing?
Yeah, the thing that goes, the neck brace.
The neck brace.
Yeah,
okay.
The neck brace.
I was like, what chin strap?
I couldn't think of the word neck brace.
They hook you into something on the plane or something.
It's going to be a packed flight too. It's going to be
really?
Yeah. Red wine and sleeping pills were his trick.
For who?
I'll bring some of my. That's what Jen and Horton was saying. Yeah.
Red wine and sleeping pills. Yikes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll bring one of my anti-anxiety pills. Take that right before the flight.
Probably need to. Put you
the
out.
hard part is it's like, even if I like my sleep schedule, if I sleep too much, I'm just gonna be wasted, right? So it's almost like I need to stay up because it's a 14.5-hour flight. If I go to bed right then, I'm going to sleep even if I get 8 hours of sleep,
right?
I still have another 6 hours of flying.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be 5 a.m. by the time I get there. It's like I need to stay up for at least, 7 hours of the flight.
I had a flight coming back from London to Dallas one time, and the headwinds were so bad it took almost 15 hours to get back from London, and somehow I managed to sleep for almost all of it. I think I woke up for an hour in the middle.
That's awesome.
No pills or anything. Just I can sleep, man. I can sleep.
I want to say my flight back from from France after the DAT show, I slept a fair amount. I don't know.
You got to bring something to do, man. Are you bringing a Switch or anything like that?
I don't.
So you can...
Well, I mean, I've got a book I'm gonna finish. I plan on finishing. I'm like a third, maybe over a third of the way done with it, and that'll get me through at least 5 or 6 hours, maybe.
You have a laptop. Get that new Houdini update and.
Yeah, right.
Start learning.
I do have a laptop. I'm bringing my laptop because we got to do karaoke on it.
Well, yeah.
So
you'll learn at least one new feature of Houdini in those 15 hours.
It's funny. Remember how when we were talking to Noseman, a while ago when Houdini was kind of coming up on the scene. And he's like, Houdini is not one of those things like cinema or After Effects where you slowly make steps. Houdini is one of those things where it's like a ladder. You a really tall ladder, or stories. You finally climb your way up to that first story, and then you're like, okay, I've made it this far.
Yeah.
I understand. It's like you make through little tiny bits. You make big strides, but it takes a while.
I think that applies to a lot of things, but I think that the Houdini ladder is just taller.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that in everything my whole life. Photoshop, cinema, it doesn't matter what it is. You learn a little bit at a time. And you're like, okay, I've made it to the next level. Yeah. Now what do I do?
The hardest part is repetition because I'm so often in After Effects. You give me anything in After Effects, I can do it. I believe 100% that I understand After Effects like 90%, 90% of everything there is in After Effects. Cinema, I'm probably at about 75%, right? I know a fair amount about cinema, but man, Houdini, it's like I can get in there and I can do a few things, but I forget almost all the time, like, because with like particles or something like that, there's a specific way to work, and then like you've got your rate and you've got your collisions and you've got like different modifiers and stuff like that, and like in Houdini it's very similar, but you've got different places where each of those main things are, and it's like I can never remember where do you put the collisions and where do you do this. It's not simple like just drag and drop.
I think that really the people who do the best are the people who are doing lots of tests, right?
Yeah.
Like Vernon's doing a bunch of tests right now. He's doing a bunch of things to try things out. And the people who are doing not necessarily dailies, but that are just doing their own like personal, I'm going to learn this, and then I'm going to try doing it this way, and then they do another particle thing the next week. Because unless you're using it, you're losing it. So I think that's what makes it tough to learn. It's like I learned a lot of Nuke back in the day, and it just like I would leave it for a little bit and I would come back and I would forget how to do stuff, and that applies to just about everything. So that's why I feel like you've got to make your decision whether or not you're going to get in it. Even Unreal, right? Like I know I know enough to like kind of get around in Unreal, but then every time I stop using it for a while, I got to remember everything.
Yes, and that is 100% repetition. I can say I'm pretty comfortable in like just doing simple animations and bringing in stuff from Cinema to Unreal and doing texturing. I'm very comfortable in that realm. It's like, but once you start getting into blueprints and stuff like that, and the only reason, what's so funny is I didn't mean to get into Unreal. I just did. And it all was because I took Winbush's course on Mograph.com, like I took Winbush's course just to go over it and make sure that there was nothing wrong. Like I was just QCing the entire thing. Right. And because of that, I became an Unreal like person. It's like people knew.
Well, and you got gigs with it. And so those gigs
and it's like people would pass me gigs. It's like, hey, can you do this? It's just simple like animation. And then I'd go back, I'd watch one Winbush thing, and it's like, oh, okay, now I remember what to do,
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you do the repetition of that for 6 months because people think you're like this amazing Unreal artist, and it's like, I'm not really. I just know how to use the tools, Well, it's funny.
I've always felt like that about everything I do. I'm not really good at it. I'm just
right.
I'm just messing around. So